All right, the next 1:30 game is Pack-9 versus the Cowboys, or the Boys.
Yeah, so the Pack-9 ended up being 4th seed. The boys are 5th seed. The Pack-9 is 6-2. The boys are 5-3. These two teams have the longest history of anybody else in the playoffs that played each other so far. When I looked over it, on the stats on the computer, it goes back to 2010. So during that time, the boys are actually 5-2 when they face each other off. So the boys have won 5 times. The Pack-9 won twice since 2010. They've only played each other in the playoffs once since that time, and it was the Cowboys. I think if there's always an upset. Is everybody all right?
Go ahead.
There's always an upset, and I think there's going to be an upset. This is the game that is going to happen. I think this is going to be the closest game. Yes, I think this will be the only game of the week that they could be close enough to be an upset. And in fact, I think the boys will even pull it off. I think history's on their side. I think the boys win this thing 25-24. Extra points are going to count.
Okay.
Yeah, we always seem to play one of our best games against the Packers or the Pack-9, both of them combined. You know, our record against them is 5-2. You know, we've always seemed to do a really good job against them. I have Buddy's number, that's for sure. And, you know, we want to sit there and continue to keep it that way. So the boys are going to come out to play this week, and we are going to win a close one, 27-25. You know, I think, you know, they have momentum from last week's game. You know, the kids been studying tape. They've been learning a lot, you know, and I think the Pac-9 are hurting from last week's loss. We also want to sit there and win this game because we know for a fact that if we win this game, we get to play the Colts the next round, and they owe us one.
Yeah, it's a lot of history between the Packers and the Cowboys. This year, both teams is really similar. They both lost to the Colts and the Seahawks. I think this game will come down to coaching. The Cowboys are 5-3, and the Packers are 6-2. So I think it's gonna come down to coaching. I think I got the Cowboys winning. Close game, 33-26.
What about the coaching? What's going to come down to?
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Leo was saying that how Dave already had an established team, and this year, Leo, he has a young team, and they only lost 3 games. So if his young team this game can show out and beat the Packers, then they can go deep in the playoffs.
Okay.
You think that Eric can do it, being the dump-off king? Just curious.
Yeah.
Listen, if it takes 20 dump balls, 20 dump balls is going to be.
I mean,
whatever it takes.
If K-Sean show out, then yeah.
That's all they need.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's really important in this game is the turnover. I mean, whichever team commits the less turnover will win this game. And I think Eric probably leads the lead in turnover. If he hasn't learned his lesson yet, I hope he did. And I think he did. So he's going to come out this game and limit the turnovers for sure. He threw enough already. I hope he got that out his system. That's what the regular season is for.
If Dave don't have Buddy in his ear, it's going to be a long game probably.
Okay.
Yeah, Buddy just can't seem to sit there and micromanage. I mean, He's just always micromanaging. He needs to sit there and focus on his Eagles. His Eagles probably would have been 7 or 6
Eagles
seed.
at 12 and the Pack-9 at 130. That's why we put him in 2 separate slots so that he could be at both.
Yeah, he's like the Steve Kerr right now.
That's what he does.
That was a request.
That was a request.
Steve Kerr.
Just want to make you know.
When his team is losing, he got to come out halftime, make a halftime speech to come out and win.
Somehow the Pack-9 and Eagles end up playing each other. What's that? What you saying on?
Exactly.
Center field.
Maybe we'll let him hold the camera. So he can do
All right,
both.
guys, come to the field knowing your verse and ready to play. Verse is Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you.
Buddy.
Rat.